It's funny that John says you said I'm pertinent or I'm here a lot, right? That's facts. I've spent more time with John the last couple months than always present. That's what it was. Funny, was it last time I was here? I'm pulling out me and Lucy are going home. I'm gonna drop her off. I'm gonna go to work and this and that, and I'm driving my truck and like starts squeaking. I'm like, "Do you hear that, Lucy?" She's like, "Yeah, a little bit." And we're like, "Okay." We keep driving and the car starts braking for me. I'm like, "Okay, yeah, this is not good, right?" Like I was just here, like maybe 10 minutes down the road. Anyways, I called John up. That's why I love John. I love this area, man. I call him up. Hey, he got me a tow truck, got me a car, got me this, got me that, got me on my way, got it back to me in a couple days, and that's why I would literally do anything for John. So appreciate you helping me out that day, and further than that. So, okay, so we're gonna go leadership characteristics and passion. So when I talk, okay, it's usually from a coaching standpoint. I've been doing this for 20 years, right? So if I get loud, if I yell, if I do something like that, it's not because I'm yelling at you. Like I tell Lucy, I just love what I do. I enjoy what I do. And when I was doing this passion one, it was funny. We went to Disneyland yesterday, right? So my calves are completely blown out, right? Going up these steps was really tough. Okay, I'm really tired. But while we're standing in line waiting, and as a coach, if you're a leader, whatnot, you're always aware of what's going on around you. So there's this guy at Disneyland. He was what do they call them, cast members, right? He's sitting there with his vest and this and that, and everybody's hanging out waiting to go in the park, and he just starts talking about Disney trivia and making kids laugh and doing this and doing that. He looked like he really enjoyed his job, right? The girl next to him was just standing there, looking like she was just tired, looked like she maybe wanted to go home. I don't know, okay? But I could tell that guy had a real passion for what he was doing. Right? He enjoyed it. He wanted to make everybody else's days more enjoyable, more like improved, right? So just kind of a small, I kind of went with that and saw that guy yesterday. So it's just kind of funny. Got it? All right, this is Lucy, by the way. This is my daughter, if you guys don't know her. She's here to help me out. So what we're going to cover today, okay, is inspirational presence, okay, a strong commitment, empathetic engagement, overcoming adversity, and a continuous learner. So these are just things that I've noticed that with my time at BCHS, at BHS, just coaching in general, I've kind of hit on these, and this is not things that I've made up. I have a little bit and kind of critiqued into my own style, okay? But these 5 things that I really think you have to have if you're going to be a passionate leader. You're going to see these come out when you work, okay? Good, next, Luce. Okay, I'm going to try and stay on topic. Sometimes I kind of go off, but inspirational presence, okay? Be infectious, okay? You can't have a bad day as a leader. Employees, players, assistant coaches will come to work with baggage. You cannot, okay? Demand their best, try to be super supportive, be the same person every day, okay? So be infectious. I hope, I really do hope, and I'm going over these, this paper that John just passed out to you, and I'm trying to see what all my kids kind of have a lot of all these characteristics. And it's really weird, and I was just telling him, like, just the 10 years that I've been the head coach at BCHS, I can see just a vast, like, how you coach players, how you do certain things, because they all come from different backgrounds, right? But as a coach, when you walk on campus and you walk into your classroom, you walk out to practice, you hope that you can be an infectious a leader. You can kind of present yourself as, I'm not having a bad day. I don't know what your parents are doing. I don't know what you're doing, but I'm not going to have a bad day, right? I'm going to be the same guy every day. I'm not going to be this emotional roller coaster coach where you're going to be coached by 5 different people. You're not sure who you're going to get when you show up, right? I'm going to be the same guy I am every day, right? Same cat. That's my goal as stepping on the field or stepping in the classroom, okay? Have a constant vision, right? So the vision I lay out when I first got hired, it was God, it was discipline, and it was working hard. Those were going to be the 3 things I taught these guys, right? Our offensive line coach, I don't know if he was, yeah, he's right here, okay? Our offensive line coach, Coach Eddie, he always tells me, okay? I always go to him when I need help or some advice, whatnot. He goes, is it who we are? Is that what we're all about? Is that what we're going to be doing? So he makes sure that I stay on track with our vision. If something comes up, doesn't seem quite right, Coach Eddie's usually there to be like, yeah, that's not who we are. That's not what we're a part of, right? So he always tries to keep me on track with a constant vision of what I'm doing and what I'm trying to do with these coaches and players, okay? Be enthusiastic, okay? Be upbeat. Have a sense of humor. Create a group chat with your employees. Share some laughs. Create a positive environment. Live spirits. I'm in a group chat with all these yahoos, man. We have a good time. We really do, okay? So if you're a leader and you're just stepping into work, ignoring everybody, you guys don't chat unless you come to work, like it's not gonna really inspire a lot of people. You gotta show that you're human, right? So I've known a lot of these guys for 10 plus years, and we have a group chat together, and we enjoy having each other's company. We go out to dinner, we go out to lunch, we'll do all those things with each other. Okay, you got to make sure that you're inspiring these guys just by being who you are, right? I had a boss at the Able Center, I don't know if you guys know where that is, special education site before I became a coach. Had a boss named Tom, small guy. You wouldn't even notice him if you walked in a room. That the guy was so enthusiastic, and his enthusiasm and his laughter and this and that was so contagious. I could not have a bad day around that guy, right? So he came to work. He knew. I could never tell if he was having a bad day or not, and I kind of gained a lot of what I do off of him too. So great guy, great boss I had. Okay, just create a great atmosphere. Okay, where people enjoy coming to work. One thing I hate the most is when I've coached for some guys. They're so negative. They're so this. They're so that. The players don't even want to step out of the locker room. They don't even want to go play. Right. Some coaches don't even want to go coach with a guy. Right. So I've been in those situations. Don't be that way. Okay. Be someone that when people show up, hey, they're good to see, they're happy to see you. They're this and that. They want to work hard. Like I said at the bottom, life's already difficult for everybody. Okay. It's tough. Just make sure you have a good persona about you when your employees or ever show up to work. Okay. Strong commitment. All right. But walk the walk, talk the talk. I want to make sure that when my guys, when I say something, when they see me, if I tell them to do this and that, I want to make sure that they know that Coach Carr is doing it, and he's not wavering off that. So, I mean, you kind of know by your fruits, right? So, if I claim to be a Christian, I claim to be this, claim to be that, I can't have my kids getting bad grades, being disrespectful in class. Can't have my wife super sad when she goes to work. I can't, I can't have the around. I could say one thing and the around me is just a mess, right? So I got to make sure I'm doing walking the walk, talking the talk, right? If I want my coaches to be all in, they got to see me coming to work early. They got to see me leaving late, right? That's always been a big thing of mine for our coaches and our players to see me show up on time and try and be the last one. I put sometimes on there, try and be the last one out of the building, okay? Watch me cleaning up after practice, watch me doing this, watch me doing that. I want them to see me have a commitment to our school and to our program, right? Got my tooth pulled last year, got it pulled out, infected, whatever. Still showed up to practice. I was sick, drove up in my truck, sat there, watched practice. So I want to see my guys see me very committed to what they're doing, right? I have very little empathy for guys that roll in late and don't tell me, or consistently, they don't text me. Yep. Where am I at?
You're out of frame.
Oh, am I? Am I in frame now?
Is that better, Alex?
Am I good?
You good?
Okay.
Right there?
Thought I was being attacked for a second, John. I was flashed. Okay. Yeah, I was like, man. Okay. But zero empathy, right? I want these guys to have a strong commitment. I want to show that I have a strong commitment. I want these guys to show me that they really care about what they're doing, right? So all I ask these guys, text me, show me that they're going to be on time. If something's going on, just text me, let me know, okay? Like I said, life happens. But it's hard coaching 100 different guys with 100 different backgrounds and 100 different cars, right? To be on time to do all this stuff, but all I ask is communication out of them, right? So my main thing is just be committed to what you're doing. My man, Coach Wingle, he was our offensive line coach. He got COVID, got real sick, but he has a big heart for our football players. So he's kind of rolling into this chaplain role. This guy will roll in every day with oxygen tank, with the tubes in his nose. We'll sit down, we'll give the word, we'll do everything he can for our boys. And those are the kind of guys that I watch. That's the kind of strong commitment that these guys can see, right? That their coach cares about them. So, all right, empathetic engagement, okay? You got to care, okay? You really do got to care about your employees, about your staff, about your players, okay? You got to know your employees first off. Like I said, you can't just walk in here, just fly by, hey, how you doing, and just walk past each other and like two shifts in the night. Can't happen, okay, as a leader, all right? Go to lunch, go to dinners, again, texting each other, this and that. Show genuine care, right? So one of our coaches had a son. He's super excited. You know, when a football coach has a boy, you know that's exciting, right? Because you know he's going to play football for us and rush for 1,000 yards in 15 years, right? So coach someone, played at Fresno State, coaches for us, played running back. when his son was born, he could, tell there was a couple maybe learning issues or whatnot. Not really sure what's going on. Don't really get into his business, but I wanted him to know that we were there for him, right? So he'd bring his son to practice and this and that, and his son was doing whatever. I don't want to get into it too much, but it was after practice one day, and my dad and him were just talking, and he broke down a little bit. I'm like, this is perfect time for us to maybe pray for the guy, right? Pray for his son and bring him over and those things. So it's not that I'm trying to do something for myself. It's that my coaches that have coached with me for 10 years need to know that Coach Carr cares about them, and he cares about not just football things, but cares about everything that we do, okay? We also have another coach, Coach Moran. He had a son in college not too long ago, maybe about 2-3 years ago. He played football for us, won MVP of our league. Perfectly healthy kid, amazing athlete, went off to college. Driving around one day, got sideswiped by a car, right? Almost killed him, right? He was in a coma for a while. He's got brain swelling, this and that. So things aren't good for him right now, but we try and do our best to reach out to him, love him up, take Coach Miranda out to lunch, and just try and pray for him and reach out to him, send videos to his son and whatnot. But it's just showing genuine care for your guys that work for you, right? That's important to me. Okay. Circle back, check up with people. It may not be to that extreme, but just maybe, hey, my wife or sick and this and that. Come back to it a couple days later and see how they're doing, right? Take time out of your day to show those that you care and love them. Okay. What else we got? Yeah. So many times my office is right next to the practice field. I remember we had a kid, Chris Gutierrez, doing well now. Tremendous young man, won a state championship with him, but came in my office one day, and he's a real quiet kid. Wouldn't talk, wouldn't say much, so you had to kind of figure out what he was trying to get across to you. But the kid was hungry. He didn't want to say he was hungry. He didn't want to say this and that. He didn't want to say that his parents didn't have this and that at home, right? So you got to kind of, if I didn't know Chris too well, I didn't spend time with him, I wouldn't have noted that he needed food. I give him bread, give him this and that, right, for him to take care of. So just get to know your staff and your players and your employees, right? Next. Ability to overcome adversity, okay. This is a big thing for sports. I don't know how it is here, but this is a big thing for sports, okay. And again, I know I'm coming as a coach, right. That coaches high school football players, okay. But if you can take one or two things and relay it to your life, then great, okay. But the ability to overcome adversity, okay. View challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities to grow, okay. Passionate leaders maintain their enthusiasm when adversity hits, okay. The leader's enthusiasm and resiliency encourages the team to push through. All right. I say all that verbiage and all that definition. Okay. In 2016, at halftime, I don't know how old you were at the time. I don't know if you were in there or not, but we were playing in a state semi-championship, right? So one more game to go to the state championship, right? We had a really good football team, great athletes, good this, good that. We had everything, right? But the guys weren't playing the way they were supposed to in the first two quarters. They just weren't. They were missing passes. They were dropping balls. They were missing assignments. I don't know what it was, right? So I went in at halftime, and I destroyed everybody. I didn't know this, John, but my dad was videoing the whole thing. I'm not going to play it for you because I'm not going to do that. But I scorched earth on everybody. Everybody. That's not how I am all the time. But man, passion, right? Oh my gosh, like guys, you're missing an opportunity to do something this school has not done before. You're missing an opportunity to go somewhere you guys haven't done, to get noticed, to get this, to get that. I don't know if it was the halftime speech or not, but we went out there and we scored 40 points in the second half, right? And we actually ended up scoring late or whatever it was and going for two, and we ended up winning the game, okay? In 2019, okay, at halftime again, right? We're in the actual state championship. This is the state championship right here in 2019. And again, second half, the first half, not playing great, not playing it terrible. And we ended up coming back, winning the game, winning the state championship. People were like, what'd you say to him at halftime? What'd you say? I'm like, I didn't really say anything. Like, it was complete opposites, right? Different kids, different that, different moment, whatever it was, different games. But the point is, man, like, sometimes you need the hard love. Sometimes you need just X's and O's and figuring it out. And that's literally what it was. we told I told the reporters or something like that, like, what did you say to him at halftime? I told him to block the Mike linebacker. Block the Mike linebacker, we're going to win this game. Worked up, blocked the Mike linebacker, rushed for like 200 yards in the second half, right? So super easy stuff. Sometimes it takes this, and sometimes it takes the other, right? But these guys knew, and I always try and portray a certain way about how I talk to the kids at halftime, right? I don't want them, when I walk in there, I don't want them seeing some kind of beat down emotional, like, we're going to lose and this and that. No, they're going to see me, the same person I am every day, kick the door down, halftime, let's go win the game, right? That's what they're going to see every time that we go in there. So if you have a leader that does that, I mean, you feel pretty good about taking the field with him, right? Or taking, the day with him. So next, Lucy. Okay. Continuous learning, big for me, right? So a lifelong learner. My grandfather, he passed on now, but he was a pastor for 35 years at Liberty Christian Center up the road here. Still go to the church and everything, but he told me one day, he goes, the day you stop learning, you should just pick out your plot, right? And he's in his 70s and his 80s, man, and he was always learning, always reading books, always doing this. I mean, we got so many books and stuff that he would just write in. He actually wrote a book, and my grandma gave it to my brother Derek. He reads it. But always learning, always come up with new ideas. Listening, I tell my coaches this, I'm like, guys, you got ideas, just let me know. Like, text me, shoot me an idea, this and that. Now, whether I use it or not is a different thing, right? So, you got ideas, send them to me, we'll think about it, we'll talk about it, okay? But not just being the leader that just kind of sits in the corner, this is the way we're going to do it, and this is the way we're always going to do it, and that's it, right? So, always trying to find a flow, always trying to be, always learning, okay? Look for opportunities, right? Run past ideas with coaches, call, text, read books, articles. I was on YouTube the other day looking up defensive stuff, right? Derek and Dave will send me things that they see that are slightly different that we'll use during the year, right? But always trying to move forward, not staying in one spot, right? And that'll filter down to the football players, that'll filter down to my staff, and we'll all become enlightened, I guess, okay, with the new knowledge we got. All right, next, Lucy. Okay, just about done. Passionate leaders create a powerful impact by driving performance and fostering an environment where everybody feels valued and empowered to achieve their best work, okay? The big thing I got out of this was everyone feels valued, right? Now, in high school sports, you're going to have the Ben Urosics that play at Georgia and Stanford, and you're going to have a lot more kids that just want to just work at McDonald's when they get done with high school and work their way through college and work their way through this, right? So what I tell these guys and what I try and preach to them is for all of them. And I try and take time out of my day to talk to each one of these kids. We have a kid that comes in, I won't use his name now because he's an underage kid, but comes in, transfers from a school, super quiet, uber, like almost terrifyingly quiet. So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, what's wrong? What's wrong with this kid, right? Stuff has happened. He does not have his dad anymore. He does not have his mom. He goes back and forth between households. He's this, he's that. Kid's been through a lot, come to find out. Not talking to him, but just through our staff and whatnot, finding out things. It's important for me when he steps in today, okay, like he's been coming every day and works his butt off, is to say hi to that kid. Ask him how he's doing. How was lunch? How was this? How you fitting in? How's it going? You want to take time, and we can call it the lowest person on the, you don't have to call it whatever you want. You can call it whatever you want to call it, okay? But take time out of your day to make sure everybody feels valued and you spend time with them. Now, we're not going to be best friends. We're not going to go places together. But those kids, when they come in the door, they're going to make sure that they know that Coach Carr cares. And Coach is going to ask them how their day is. And we're going to just foster that whole environment, right? And our seniors do it. Everybody does it. We have a couple seniors that are, you always do, that are good kids and best players on our team and whatnot. I empower those guys, okay, to go talk to those kids. Go hang out with those guys during lunch. Go speak with those cats, right? That way we all just feel like a family, okay? So questions to kind of ponder, right, towards the end of this. You can kind of read it for yourself, but can my staff and players see enthusiasm through my actions? I don't know. I don't know if they can, but I'm going to be the same guy I am every day, okay? If they can see it, great. If it helps them, motivates them, great, okay? I'm going to be the same cat I am every day, okay? Can my staff and players see a strong commitment from me? They better, right? Because I'm the first one there and the last one to leave, right? Do I engage with my staff and players in a positive way and create a better work environment? I sure hope so. You try. These all take effort, okay, to do, all right? When times get tough, do I stand strong? Do I overcome adversity? Do I show strength to my staff and players, right? That's a big thing, right? Adversity shows up, what's Coach Carr going to do? What's our captain going to do? How's he going to act? Is he going to cry? Is he going to get emotional? Is he going to freaking pout? Sorry, I get passionate, see? Am I going to be the same guy, right? Do I seek out advice from wise people? That's big, okay? If I didn't have that on there, none of this stuff would really make sense, okay? So seek out advice. Hey, look, I'm not just a Nick Saban fan, okay? I'll end with this, okay? So Nick Saban, very passionate human being, you would say, right? Can also, smile a little bit, right? So, but my one story about Nick is we had a kid, Division I football player. Ben Urosik played for us a couple years ago. Went to Stanford. David had a quarterback coach that was there. He was the quarterback coach there in 2019. Anyways, long story short, picks the phone up, got a hold of him because I'm like, Alabama, well, his sister played there, and I have no way of getting a hold of Nick Saban, right? So that's not going to be a thing, okay? But he's like, here's this guy's number. So we ended up chatting, right? So he calls me, okay? And phone, I pick it up. I go, hey, coach, how's it going? Hey, good. Yeah, I'm calling about Ben. He goes, yeah, he's a really good player. And as we're going back and forth, just playing tennis is what we call it, loving each other up, I hear yelling in the background, like screaming, like down the hallway, like he's in his office, right, the quarterback coach. He's like, Darren, I got to call you back. And hangs up. I'm like, okay, well, that's great. So I wait, driving down the road. Probably 10 minutes go by, and he picks it back up. He goes, Coach? I'm like, yeah. I says, everything okay? He said, yeah, Nick was in one of his moods. I'm like, oh, yeah? I said, were you fired? He goes, no, I wasn't fired. He goes, apparently, so one of the quarterbacks, I guess, there's like 10 of them on the field or whatever it is on the roster. I guess one of them did not tell, well, he told the quarterback coach that he was not going to be at weights, right? Well, the quarterback coach didn't tell Nick that was not going to happen. So what does Nick really care about the 10th quarterback on the roster missing a workout? To me, that just shows the passion this guy has for every single one of his players, right? The 10th quarterback missed weights. I'm going to go find out. I'm going to march down this hallway and find out why the quarterback coach didn't tell me, or why, or what's going on, right? So we're going back and forth. I said, does that happen much? He goes, yeah, it was his first year there. He goes, so I'm trying to get to know Nick a little bit. He goes, he wants to know everything. He wants to know everything. Now, whether he takes care of it or not, right, is one thing, but he wants to know everything. And I just got he's very passionate about his guys, his players, and those types of things, right? So that's my Nick Saban story. It was funny. He was laughing. He didn't get fired. He's actually, I think he coached for the Panthers now or something like that. But it was just funny, man, just kind of seeing that guy be passionate about his kids. So.
You normally tell your players if you were leading at halftime versus trailing at halftime.
Yeah, so.
What does that dialogue look like? So here you are in the middle of the game, had a great first half, or a bad first half.
Yep.
How do you? I know you're always consistent. And
Yeah.
You mentioned that you've had a couple instances where you use different techniques when they were down.
Yeah.
How do you tell them when they're up? How do you keep them from becoming cocky or overly confident and getting their butt kicked in the second half?
Well, it's tough with 16-year-olds. I know that. Yeah. It's tough, very tough, because you see that. We'll go in there, we call them war stories. Like, we'll have guys, like, telling war stories at halftime. Like, I don't care. Like, if I walk in there, so let me back up real quick. So we'll meet outside the locker room or the weight room before we go in there and talk to them. There was one time this year, we were up by probably 14 points, something like that. And I hear them in there just, like, telling their stories, laughing. I can see them through the windows. And it's irritating me because I've been in games where you lose close games, where you think you're up by a lot and you think that you got it in the bag and you could lose those games, right? So in the back of my head, I don't know what it is, maybe God put it there, I just get like this primal upsetness, rage. I don't know if it's rage or not, but I'm just like, these guys don't understand, because they're 15, they're 16 years old. They don't understand what could be out there waiting for them, right? So go in there, if I just kind of play the mood, right? I'll go in there, get on them, hey, cut it out, 0-0, this and that. But if the mood's good, right, the guys are in there just kind of, enjoying what they just did at halftime, I'll kind of let it cook a little bit, we call it. I'll just kind of let it simmer. If it gets too out of control, I'll come in there and make sure we straighten it out, get them back on the right track. Again, when we're down, it's not fun, right? We'll go in there. You just kind of play the mood. I play the room, right? So do I need to go in there and yell and scream at these guys? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? And I ask the coaches what they think. And usually Coach Eddie's really great. It's funny, just Nick Saban's face just sitting right there now. It's funny to me. But I got a lot of coaches with a lot of wisdom that can kind of help me and guide me in this and that. Sometimes we're up by a lot and they're not, being immature. I'll go in there anyways and just yell and scream just for fun. Like it's an act, right? Just to do it. I'm not in a bad mood. I'm really not. But I'll go in there just to make sure everybody, sits up straight. So.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What happens if you have your captain of the defense, a defensive captain, right?
Yeah.
He's out on the team, you got 100 players, and he doesn't agree with you. He's not agreeing with you, and he's actually talking to all of the rest of those teams because there's an influencer,
Yeah.
the decision maker, he's not the coach,
Yeah.
but he's out there running his mouth with the rest of that defense.
Yeah. So I don't know what you guys do here, but I would have that kid run a lot, and I'd have him do up downs. No, but I think there's one thing that we have as a coach with these high school kids, and I'll get to your question, but I can physically run these guys and get their attention, right? You can't do that here. But what I would do, I would talk before it even got to the game, before it even got to disobeying me on the field. There had to have been something going on way before that, right? Where I wasn't paying attention well enough, or maybe I wasn't having that kid explain to me his thoughts. Like I'll always do this with our Mike linebackers, and I'm a defensive guy. So this year it was Noah Ocampo. I don't know if you guys know that kid. If you don't, whatever, it's fine. But I always make sure our Mike linebacker is very mature. He knows it better than I know it. I feel his brain's so full of information that he can't think about doing things like that, right? I have him believe in what we're doing, and I'll ask his opinion too. So it's more like the meeting, like quarterbacks do with the offensive coordinator, like Dave does with the quarterbacks, right? We're on the same page. If we're on the same page and I get an inkling that you're not, like you're done. You can come sit over here and hang out, and I'll put somebody else in. We'll lose the game. I don't really care, right? But I won't have a kid out there playing that's not relaying exactly what I'm telling him to do, right? And also opening that window for him to talk to me. So I don't know if that answers your question or not, but yeah.
One thing that I took out of it at the very beginning is like, when you're saying you're a Christian, right? How do you say you're a Christian if you don't treat your spouse the right way, or what you're portraying in the house?
Yep.
I think the biggest thing, and I still, have to be careful with what I do at the house, because women, it's what I'm taught now and I'm understanding more is that women your wife is submissive to you when you first got married, right? But you're the one, your actions and how you treat them is how they're not submissive to you anymore, and they have to put up a barrier and protect themselves. But just how you treat your spouse, I mean, I like how you put that up there. I don't know what your thoughts are on how you maintain that house, at home.
Yeah, well, it's love, right? You really got to truly love the people that you marry, right? I love my wife, right? Nobody's perfect. We're not perfect. Lucy's not perfect. I'm not perfect, am I, Lucy? Me and Lucy probably bump heads the most because we're most alike. We're most alike, right? But
we'll talk about this after.
Yeah, for sure. But it's with, right. With me and my wife, I'm very blunt with my kids in the room. Like we'll talk about things, like something will come on TV and we'll chat about it, whatnot. I'm like, guys, you'll never see me disrespect your mom. You'll never see it because I'd probably have a black eye. You'd know it, right? She'd swing on me, right? But there is a leader in the household. This is where we're going to go. It doesn't make anybody else less, right? But as a man, I have to make sure that everyone's taken care of. And not a lot of our kids have that, right? They don't have the dad in the household that can do this and that, right? So that's why I go back to being the same guy I am every day, right? And making sure my priorities are right, making sure my spiritual life is right first before I can do anything, right? So usually when we have issues with kids and players and whatnot, and it's not about football, it's usually about something else, maybe work ethic or whatever, you name it. We always go back and we want to meet with them. We're like, how's your relationship with Jesus? How's your relationship with this? Now this is just us, it's a Christian school. It could be different for you guys, right? How's your relationship at home? How's your relationship here? If your relationships at home are jacked up, they're not going to be great here. They're not, right? So I got to take care of myself first, right? And then I can have a nice household that you like walking into. You walk into our household, it's not dark, it's not gloomy, it's not this and that. You can feel there's love in the house, right? So, yeah.
A lot of this reminds me of, I guess there's a term that I was taught when my pastor is sacrificial leadership.
Yeah, 100%.
You help, if you're a leader,
Yeah.
And
Yep.
that's what this really inspires.
There's a picture I think that I've used before. It's a leadership deal. Do you lead from the front? Do you lead from the middle? Do you lead from the back? Right. I'm going to lead out in front. Right. This is how it's God put this in front. He put this team on my shoulders. He put this staff in front of me. Put his staff's family in front of me. If I'm doing something, they're gonna have to follow it. Right. If I'm going right or left, they're gonna go right and left. Right. So I'll never be the guy that just barks orders and sits back in my chair and hangs out. Right. We'll always be out in front. So somebody else. Yeah.
When you leave the coaching job, how do you want to be remembered by the players that you won so?
Yeah, that I loved them, right? That I cared for them, right? You can say something. I can say a bunch of lines and quotes and stuff like that, but the way when you walk in, the way I say hi to you, the way I treat you, the way you make somebody feel will go a lot longer than anything else. Like my old coaches. When I think about some coaches I had, I just not a fan of that guy, right? Because the way he made me feel. Now I'm not handing out ice cream and candies and stuff like this to kids, right? Making them feel good. It's not happening, right, ever. But I want to make sure that they know that I love them, I care about them, I talk to them, I take time out of my day to go approach them, right? So wins and losses, I got a bunch of rings. It doesn't matter, right? It's cool, it's a blessing, right? I want to make sure all these guys know that they're loved by their coaches and that they had great role models.
So, I mean, I think you answered a little bit of that as far as how do you keep in touch? What do you do outside of just on the football field?
Yeah.
Keep coaching or stay in touch and make sure all your coaches are
Yeah.
together. It's like
Yeah.
special teams coach or defense coach
Yeah.
or offensive coach. How do you guys do, not during practice,
Yeah.
what do you do before practice with them?
So you mean like in a formal way, or like as it
just
pertains to football?
Keeping all your coaches, on the same page going
Yeah.
forward and making sure that they're heard. How do you?
Yeah, it's tough, right? Because I'm the only guy on campus, the only coach on campus, right? So all these other guys usually most of them have teaching jobs, whatnot. We all kind of have the same hours and whatever, but it's really hard because they're not on campus with me, right? So we have our group chats, we have our certain things where something pops up, we'll inform each other, we'll do this, we'll have a little conversation. We do meet probably in March. We'll start practicing. That's when we really start seeing everybody, right? And we kind of get the flow back going. But having group chats, inviting guys over, like I have dinner with probably 2 or 3 of our coaches. Our AD is one of my buddies that just got the job this year, and we go out and eat with donors. We go out and do this, and so we got like a tight knit group. There's groups within the groups, right? Kind of hang out. So when we come together, it's you just got to find time, right? You got to find time to hang out with each other, right? All my time is built up with my family and whatnot, but there's plenty of time for you guys to go eat dinner, go eat lunch, 30 minutes, an hour, go hang out. And it doesn't got to be everybody, and that's a lot of people in here, right? But take 3 or 4 out every week or so, right? We do it all the time. But just staying informed, talking to each other, yep. Anything else?
I got one.
Yep.
How do you drive players that you know have potential? And you see it,
Yeah.
they don't have the drive themselves.
That's tough, because they have to care, right? They have to care. I think about all the players that fit that criteria. I mean, I had a kid at I won't use names, but two kids, two guys that made wrong choices, right? One had a tremendous drive and a passion for something. He was actually coaching. He was an assistant on one of the coaching staffs in the Super Bowl, right? The other, okay, same family, same basically everything, made wrong choices and no idea where that guy's at. And that kid was 6'5", 240 pounds, no question he should not be playing in the NFL right now. And he did not have the drive. Other things kind of affected him, and he went the other way, right? So, and it wasn't from a lack of me not supporting him or finding lunch or taking him out and just giving my wisdom to him. It was, at the end of the day, he has to care and he has to make choices, right? That's why I always go back to football. Sorry, John, but that's why the New England Patriots can draft a guy in the 7th round and he works out, because that guy does exactly what he's supposed to do. And he may not be as flashy as the other kid that went in the 1st round, but he's going to work out and play longer, So not always about talent, but if it's a younger guy, man, we do our best to make sure things like this, encouraging, just my brain goes in a million different directions. Just doing everything that you can humanly possible. Maybe the kid does not know how to work. Maybe he knows he has tons of talent and he's been told he's great his whole life. We have a lot of those kids, right, that come to us that just been pat on the back their entire life. And when they show up to football practice, you know, in high school, it's more like a college program and we're working. And some of these guys fall behind and they get down on each other, they get down on themselves. So it's about lifting up spirits too, right? You know, it's just so many things that go into it with a kid that's not motivated. That's tough, right? Maybe he's never been told he's been good at something. Maybe, I don't know. You got to find that out for yourself. You got to know the kid. You got to get to know him, right? Sit down with him one-on-one and chat with him, you know. Because if you see potential, we've had a lot of kids in high school have potential and not work out. And it's just because it's got to be in there, right? You can get it in there. You just got to help them find it. And so, yeah, I started thinking about all the players I had. Yeah.
Awesome. Anything else? Let's give him a hand.
You
Thank
good?
you guys.
All right.